All right, well, it is springtime, and a lot of you, including myself, are considering doing some seeding projects this spring, or some overseeding projects for that matter. We are actually at my brother's property. He is going to be overseeding this backyard. We did the front yard last fall with the Barenbrug regenerating perennial ryegrass, so we're going to be using the exact same seed again for the backyard because that seed is nice. So in this video we're going to kind of go over some things to avoid and maybe some things to do to possibly set yourself up for success with your seeding projects this spring. So some things to maybe avoid doing if you're considering doing an overseeding project: avoid putting a pre-emergent down. Now you want to avoid using a pre-emergent because you're basically throwing down a chemical that is going to prevent any germination, and that includes grass seed. So I'd probably avoid using any sort of pre-emergent unless you're planning on using like a mesotrione as the active ingredient within your pre-emergent. There are different fertilizers that have this in it. Tenacity is a big brand of mesotrione, and there's also knockoff Tenacity brands and all that. So those are things you can use and still be able to germinate your seed. If you want the absolute best success with a seeding or overseeding project, I would probably wait until fall to do this, mostly because of temperatures. In the spring, the temperatures obviously are a little bit colder. The soil temperature is cooler. You want to wait till your soil temperature reaches about 50 degrees. Now, there are different websites that you can use to check soil temperatures in your area. And you can also just take a meat thermometer, stick it down into the soil, let that read where your soil temperature is sitting at. The optimal range is anywhere from about 50 degrees to 65 degrees. And obviously with the cooler temperatures, your seed is going to germinate a little bit slower. Whereas in the fall, your soil temperature is probably going to range anywhere from about 70 plus degrees. But that's not to say you can't have any success overseeding in the springtime. Now, another thing you want to take into consideration is your seed type. If you're going to be using something like a Kentucky bluegrass that has longer germination rates. So something like a Kentucky bluegrass, it takes a lot longer to germinate, sometimes upwards of about 30 days, give or take. I probably would not overseed in the springtime with Kentucky bluegrass just because it's going to take forever for that seed to germinate, for one, and then also establish a root system. Without an established root system, once you start getting into those hotter temperatures, that grass is just going to die off. Now you can use something like a perennial ryegrass and have a much better rate of success. And also when those temperatures start raising up, you're also going to want to continue watering and water a little bit more frequently than you would with an established lawn. Otherwise, with the less established root systems, your grass has the potential to die off. So enough talking, we're going to get into the prep work here now. So first off, what we've done here is we've mowed really short. We've mowed this down to about 3/4 of an inch. We have dethatched, and now we are running the Scarifyer. Using a little Sunjoe Scarifyer and Dethatcher. This thing is an absolute tank. My brother went ahead and did 2 passes yesterday with the Dethatcher attachment, and now using the Scarifyer attachment to just go ahead and pull up a lot more of that dead material. And basically what that Scarifyer attachment does is it kind of makes little slits in the soil and in the root system here so that that seed can sit inside of there and have better seed to soil contact. So it did have his lawn core aerated. It's definitely not something that's completely necessary, but again, it will allow a little bit better seed to soil contact, allow some of that grass seed to enter inside of the core holes so that that grass has, again, better seed to soil contact. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to run the mower here, suck up all of this dead material here, get it up out of the way. All right, so we just got done hitting this thing back and forth this way with the second pass, and you can see it still pulled up a ton of material. A little bit of green material, but most of it again is that dead grass and thatch buildup. We're just going to be upgrading to a better cultivar of seed. So that is the reason why we are going to be doing this overseed project, is to get a better quality grass seed, a little more drought tolerant. We're in a desert state, so the scorching days of summer just really kind of beat down on the grass, and I want something that's a little more drought tolerant, something that is going to repair itself. Regenerating perennial ryegrass from Barenbrug. I believe Barenbrug is the only company that has this regenerating ryegrass, but what it does is it kind of acts like a Kentucky bluegrass where it shoots rhizomes. It can repair itself if there's any damage to the lawn. It just kind of spreads laterally, so it's a great grass seed. I mean, it germinates pretty quick. Last fall we had a really successful overseed, and that grass just greened up so fast, and Looks really nice currently as well. Let's go check that out real fast. Again, this is cord aerated, so it doesn't look great. Grass is a little bit under stress and has a few little spots that are still coming out of dormancy. But again, coming over here to the front lawn already, I mean, we're in really early spring and this grass is already super thick, super green, beautiful texture. But you can see how much greener this area is in comparison to this area over here, which is the neighbor's lawn. So, all right, so here is the Barenbrug regenerating perennial ryegrass. Super traffic tolerant, drought tolerant. This stuff is money. We got a 25-pound bag here. If you want to see exactly what is in here, go ahead and pause. But these are the different seed varieties. Now that yellow jacket coating, it helps the seed really hold on to that moisture, keep the seed nice and moist, have a better success of germinating. So that's the only inert matter that is in there, is the yellow jacket coating. But as you can see, 0 weed seeds, yellow jacket coating, no other crop seed. So you can see all that seed down in there into the canopy. And with it being spring, we're getting a bunch of birds out, so we are going to cover this seed. We've got some really high quality organic compost that we're going to cover this with. Compost is going to give some nutrients back to the soil, to the seed, and also cover the seed to prevent birds from eating that. And then next we've got the Landzie peat moss compost spreader. What this thing is going to do is it's going to sift out some of those bigger chunks of sticks and wood in there and give a nice even layer of this compost. This is a beautiful, rich, nutrient-rich compost here, all organic certified. To cover up the seed, you could use soil, topsoil, compost. You could use peat moss. You can see, again, we're left with just chunks and sticks of wood, which makes for a nice little mulch. So that about does it for a spring seeding project. We are going to get this seed nice and wet, keep it moist. I do have a previous video that I made about how to water your lawn after seeding. I'll leave that link to that video down in the description below, as well as some of the products that we use in this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future content. Appreciate y'all watching. Have a good one.